Hello guys and welcome, it is that SW2 dude here today bringing you yet another Splatoon 3 video. Now today's video is going to be pretty dang interesting because first of all, we're going to be talking about all Splatanas in this video. Now obviously since the Splatoon 3 Direct, we've been shown this weapon class. It's a completely new weapon class, never been seen before in the Splatoon series. But of course, as we talk about the Splatanas, there's actually been some more news that we've gotten today. Which has been really interesting. We actually have a new Splatana that was not shown in the Splatoon 3 Direct. But Splatoon JP has decided to post it on their Twitter page, and there's also been an advert that actually shows 2 seconds of gameplay of this Splatana. So we shall talk about that very soon, but first let's go into the very first Splatana so we can just learn all about it and get to know it a little bit more. Now this is the Splatana. Now if you were to tell me in Splatoon 2 that we're going to receive a sword weapon coming into Splatoon 3, I'll tell you that you're crazy. Now I'll be like, bro, that's too violent for Nintendo. They would never do that. Wrong. I was wrong. I'm just saying the way that they did this, a sword weapon coming into Splatoon 3 is actually so dope. It's basically a windshield wiper, which is kind of interesting. It's such as, I don't know, dude, the things that the Splatoon developers do to do smart ways to actually make weapons, it's honestly just incredible how these people think, because they've done it. They actually did it. I would never think that they would ever do this. It is what it is, right? So this is the Splatanas. I'm gonna press play so you guys have a little look. It's basically a friggin' sword, dude. It's so friggin' dope. It has like a mini projectile when you actually do have a good swipe of it, and it also has a charged slash where you have to actually power up. So we're gonna talk about all of this so we can just kind of, you know, just have a look at it. So of course, this is your stance when you're using the Spatana Wiper, but this weapon comes with a lot of different things that I want to talk about. And the first thing especially is basically how it works. As you can see, every single time you wipe or swing with the Splatana, it creates this really mini projectile that flies with, to be honest, it's a pretty dang good range. Actually, I think from just looking at it, it's like close or maybe just below splash up per range, which is pretty dang cool. I doubt that it'll be doing that much damage just from looking at it right now, but it's nice to know that this type of weapon does have like a little bit of range. I mean, it would actually have to make sense because the weapon needs some sort of way to actually paint, and just looking at the paint, I mean, we don't really get a good look at it because of course it's been thrown off a higher surface, so we only get to see what's in front of it. But what's completely in front of us is not, it doesn't look like it paints that greatly, but at the very end it does seem like it paints pretty okay. Not amazing, but it's doable. Now of course it has this little projectile which is great for spacing and all that type of stuff, so I really do enjoy having something like that, especially because this kind of looks like the kind of weapon that you want to get to like up close and personal in people's faces and all that, because you're a swordsman, so you want to be able to swing and actually like take out your opponents and slice them up as close as possible if you can. So the really interesting thing though, which I'm going to mention since we know that there's a charged wind up with this weapon, is that when you're slashing like this, I'm pretty sure it's tap firing. Like it has to be, because if we go onto the charge slash as we see here, you have to hold it. You're gonna have to hold it. So I assume if you hold the ZR button, you're gonna be basically charging up your slash, which is, I might add, it's a much longer ranged projectile that you get to throw pretty dang far in front of you. I'm assuming the longer that, of course, you hold your charge slash, the more power it's going to do. I feel, of course, there'll probably be like a set amount of power that you can actually like get your charge slash to, because I feel like if you do your charge slash and you swing it out really quickly and it's like max damage already, it's gonna be like, huh, that's not so fair. So I think there's probably going to be a limit to how much damage you can actually do with your charge slash. So really interesting thing there. Now in this clip we get to see a little bit more of the gameplay of the Splatana, of course, and we actually get to see it take out 2 foes. So if we go back to the first one, you can see it sets up for the charge slash. It was a very quick charge slash, but then it finishes off the player with 2 slashes afterwards. This is a 3-shot. So it seems like the charge slash is roughly around 50. I mean, to be honest, that was a very quick wind up, so we don't exactly know the exact amount of damage, but as you can see there, it does hit the player, and then you get 2 slashes off, and it's basically a 3-shot kill. So I'm assuming charge slash around 50 damage, and then the 2 slashes are probably around 28 damage and all that type of stuff if it's very close range. And of course, you can see with the very final charge slash, That's a complete one-shot kill. Like, if you charge it up and then you hit them directly, that's 100% one-shot kill. You'll be killing people easily in those types of situations. Now, one thing I would like to add, when you do get the one-shot on someone like this, it actually makes the, what's it called? It's like the splat charger sound when you actually snipe someone with full charge, of course. So it's going to be a thing where you're going to know if you directly hit someone like completely like this. Instead of it just being like, huh, did I hit him or not? Or did I hit him directly enough? Like, you will know. It'll make that sound when you actually hit them. So, minor detail just to let everybody know that that's a thing. But yeah, I just think that's a great thing in general, just to know that that's how the Splatanas work. And now moving on, because this is the Splatana's kit. And like I said, when it came to damage output, like as we can see here, it doesn't look like it does that much damage. So the swiping thing, the tap firing thing, and the projectile from the tap firing thing, I doubt it's gonna do that much damage. To be very honest, I think that the projectile is probably gonna be around 25 damage, or maybe 24. Like it'd have to be acting like a aerospray 5-shot or something like that. And then of course the windshield wiper slash thing when you're tap firing people, that's probably going to be up to 4 shots, so it'll be around like 28 damage or so. That is just what I'm thinking, because the damage here is shown as low. The range is pretty good, so definitely confirmed, as we saw from the earlier pictures where the person was just kind of slashing the thing around. Definitely has a good amount of range. It's basically a mid-range weapon, which is crazy to think with a sword, but it is what it is. But there's some really interesting things with this weapon, because the kit for it, just from how I've explained, it seems like it will work extremely well with it. And of course, as you can see right there, or say right here, the torpedo. The Splatana has the torpedo, and I had some, like, I guess a couple of scenarios I feel like that can really work with the Splatana well while using torpedo. Because some interesting things I think what people are going to do is that at first they could probably throw the torpedo, and if it, let's say, locks onto someone, but a player actually looks at the torpedo and has to take the time, I feel like players are probably going to really take advantage of those kinds of situations. Like a good Splatana player could probably like throw it and then get their charge slash up, and then hit them from afar using that charge slash, using the projectile from it, and then finish them off using the tap firing, slashing abilities and all that type of stuff. If all is good, I feel like doing things like that with the Splatana will basically capitalize or take advantage of players not paying attention to what's coming at them, you know? I feel like players are gonna have to react a lot faster if Splatana players start playing like that. So I also have a feeling that they'll do this as well. Let's say that the torpedo actually hits a player. I feel like what's most likely going to happen is that Splatana players are probably not going to look for going into that close range option. They most likely would just spam off their like tapping projectile and all that type of stuff, because if a player is damaged by their torpedo, they've taken a great amount of damage, so they're not going to be really needing to get close. They're just gonna try and pick them off and get that good chip damage off, and actually take them off that way instead. So I think that's definitely a good way a Splatana would want to actually work themselves with. So, but apart from that, torpedo Splatana, I think that's pretty dang sick. That's a good setup for this weapon to even have. It also has the Ultra Stamp, which honestly I think is also a really good fit. I think it'll be really good for the Splatana to have Ultra Stamp for close range situations, for mainly defense. Let's just say the Splatana does their charge shot and they miss, or it doesn't go really well, or they just have somebody charging at them. People tend to like worry when an Ultra Stamp, especially close range, is coming at them or around them. So the Splatana, or a good Splatana player, will be able to really like utilize using the Ultra Stamp defensively and try and take people out that way, or because they're gonna need a quick, like a really quick one-shotting close range option too. So that's probably what they'll be using it for. Just looking at this kit, the Spatana kit is insane. I think it's going to be so sick, and hopefully the weapon's good. I think it's probably going to lack a little bit in terms of painting, but hopefully it's just efficient enough so it can actually get some stuff done and utilize the kit as best as possible, and utilize its own mechanics as best as possible though, because I think there's going to be a lot of strategy coming up with the Splatanas in general, because you have to really think about what if you're wanting to do your projectile, or if you're wanting to do the charge shot, or anything like this. I feel like there's going to be a lot of strategy. There's going to be lots of different combos I think people are going to be able to think of and actually try and utilize into that game as well. So I'm really excited for the Splatanas. I think it's such a cool concept of a weapon, and I can't wait to give it a try when I get to play Splatoon 3. So now, guys, as I said at the very start of this video, that's not the only Splatana that we know of right now. There's actually two, which weirdly enough was also shown on the Splatoon Japanese website. It was just kind of there, but we didn't know what it was, but we knew it was a weapon. But today, Splatoon JP actually decided to talk a little bit more about it. It's like a heavy sort of Spatana Wiper, whatever you want to call it. Currently, at the time of this video, I don't know the exact name, but I'll show you the Splatoon Japanese post either way. So let's get into that. And here it is. This is the Gym Wiper. I guess that's the Japanese translation, but I'm sure it's going to get an English name soon. Now, this is what they're basically calling the heavy Splatana. Like, it's like the Dynamo Splatana, if you want to call it that, or the Elite Splatana. And not gonna lie, doesn't it give you chainsaw vibes, dude? I think this design of it is just so goddamn sick, dude. It's just like, what? Now, from what most of you guys have been telling me on Twitter, it's actually not an actual chainsaw. It's actually a stamp. Because your boy was like, Splatoon 3 is wild, dude. No one can tell me otherwise. A friggin' chainsaw, dude? Like, I wish it was a chainsaw, but it doesn't. Apparently, it's not a chainsaw because from what people have been saying, it's one of these. It's like a stamp of some sort. But man, bro, it gives me some Jason vibes. I don't even know, dude. It's a stamp. All right. But apart from that, yes, this is the heavy Splatana that we will be also getting at some point when this game comes out. I don't know if it's going to be already in the game as it releases, or if it updates, or it's going to be in an update or something. I don't know yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But also, of course, me showing you this, there is actually some gameplay footage of this, and it's only 2 seconds long. So we're going to go ahead and show that, because a Japanese Nintendo account on YouTube started actually posting a lot of their, I guess, marketing commercials for, of course, Japanese TV of Splatoon 3, basically just to, you know, go get it. It's coming out on September 9th. So I'm just going to show you this, because undoubtedly, this is the exact same weapon that's been shown on the Splatoon Japanese account. It's literally the same weapon. Now, I'm going to talk about it, of course, give you a little bit of analysis and some thoughts of how I feel like it's going to work. And one interesting thing that I guess, saw for myself is how far the not the chainsaw. I'm going to be calling this thing the chainsaw. How far this thing actually leaps when you actually go for the charge slash, right? Now, looking at the charge slash from the regular Splatanas, probably notice that it probably doesn't leap as far as the heavy one, because if we go back to it, just take a look at how far it's leaping from one part to another. I mean, maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but I feel like that's probably going to be one of the main gimmicks from it, because it's a bigger Splatana, so it's probably going to be more, I guess, workroom when you actually shift forward and actually slash someone with the charge shot. So it's just definitely going to be much more powerful, because obviously it has to be. It's the heavy one, so I expect my heavy Splatana to be doing a lot more power. So, and also, just one moment, can we just appreciate the movement from this game? Because look, if I just like slow this down a little bit, my man starts off with a squid roll. That's cool and all, but they come out the squid roll and they instantly charge. And look, the interesting thing I want to mention too is that the charge coming from this, it doesn't look like it needs that much time to actually charge and actually get a one-shot kill, as you can see from this. So this isn't really that many frames to actually get a one-shot kill, as you can see right here, you know? So that's one thing I found really interesting, that it doesn't take that much to actually like get that full charge going. I think some other things that we probably have to look out for when using this specific Splatana is that probably its projectile from when you're actually doing a charge shot, I imagine it being much bigger than the original Splatanas, and it probably go much further too. I assume the projectile of the charge slash from this specific Splatana will actually be able to one-shot kill from much further range. So I think it will have to just wait and see, because obviously we have only 2 seconds, so we only get to see only so much gameplay from this. But my dude, this game is gonna be so friggin' sick, dude. Splatoon 3 is gonna be wild. I cannot wait until this game comes out. It's 4 weeks from now, dude. 4 more weeks that we have to wait until this game comes out. 28 whole days. So I'm so friggin' hyped, and I hope you guys too. The Spatanas are friggin' sick. If you guys haven't seen my direct reaction when the Spatanas actually came out, I was going mad. I'm pretty sure a good amount of you guys have, but if you haven't, link in the description below. And honestly, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because your boy's going to be uploading a lot of Splatoon 3 content over this month. There's so much to talk about. There's ridiculous amounts to talk about. So make sure to keep updated by subscribing. And of course, when Splatoon 3 comes out, you know we're going to go mad. We're going to be doing some sick gameplays, be playing in some tournaments, having some good laughs, and all that type of stuff. So I hope you guys can, you know, consider subscribing, and also consider following my Twitter and my Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both if you're feeling generous. My Twitter, we've been posting a bunch of random memes and good stuff about Splatoon 3, and my Twitch, of course, great place to hang out, talk about Splatoon 3. We are literally the Splatoon 3 waiting room right now, dude. It's crazy out there, so come join us. And if you haven't already, join my public Discord. Greatest place to be, of course, notified whenever I do go live. And it's just a great place to talk about Splatoon 3 just in general, because we're a great bunch. There's about 7,000 members right there now. And around the time when Splatoon 3 comes out, there's a section in my Discord where it's just a great place to actually find people to actually play Splatoon 3 with. So, you know, if you need people to play with, it's such a great bunch of people there. So, you know, I urge you to come there. We got an amazing system for how people can actually find each other and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man, come join the vibes. It's a great place. I appreciate it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to leave in the comment section below of what you guys think of the Splatanas, and you know, how you think it's gonna be working in Splatoon 3. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I made sure to have my microphone on this time because last time I actually did this whole video and I forgot to turn my mic on. Great times. But I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I shall see you guys in a future one.